Hey guys, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin' with Sid from 3 Mississippi. How y'all doing today? I'm backing out onto the main road here to get out of church. Mike and Frankie came up to the square yesterday to sell some of his butter crunch lettuce that he grew. He grew like 10 feet of it, and it's obviously more than we can use before it's going to go bad. So he was, planning on selling some of it. He sold some, but he had a little bit left over, and so we brought it to church. So he was distributing it to some people out there and making sure they get some. And we just finished doing that and switched our cars back, and they're in choir practice, and I'm headed back to the hacienda to make a big salad with said butter crunch and some, I think, arugula and some other, I forget what other kind of lettuce he had in there for Sunday lunch. So I'm gonna go home and get that done. And then tomorrow, or I guess today, as you guys are seeing this on Monday, May 5th, is Mike and my 20th wedding anniversary. So we're trying to figure out if we're gonna try to go out to dinner tonight or tomorrow night. If we try to go tomorrow night, it's a Monday night. We gotta wait till he gets off work. We gotta drive, almost an hour each way if we want to go to a nicer or a different restaurant in the Tupelo area or something. So I'm not sure what we're gonna end up doing. So last night, okay, gotta rewind. Last night, the power went out randomly at like 9 o'clock. And normally, sometimes our power will flicker or go off for a minute and come back on. If there's a storm, or just randomly on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. I don't know, it just randomly will do that. And then you gotta reset everything and whatever. It's kind of a pain, but it's not a big deal. Well, we've had a lot of rain this last week, and pretty consistent rain, and not a lot of sunshine in between, which makes the ground really soft, which means dead trees start to fall over, which means that they'll fall on power lines, or even the power poles sometimes will get loosened and kind of fall down. And so you end up with a major power outage in an area. So our whole area was without power last night, and it ended up being until about a little bit before 1 in the morning, just a couple minutes before. And I was kind of dozing off. We were all sitting in the living room with the candle going, and we were just kind of talking and listening to Frankie had Gilmore Girls on her phone, and I was starting to doze, and then somebody would start talking, and then I'd wake up again, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed, you guys. I can't sleep out here. I was gonna try, but I was like, I can't. And then I went, oh no, I forgot I have the incubator upstairs. I need to go plug it in. I keep a power bank up in my office for just such occasion right now. And so I ran upstairs and turned that on and plugged it in, and everything was fine. So I thought, well, I'll just come back downstairs and hang out with them for a little bit longer. So I did that, and then I was like, this isn't working. I'm going to go up and lay in the bed, because I was afraid it was going to be too hot up there. We had to have them come and fix the air conditioner for the upstairs last week because it needed more coolant, and it was just really hot upstairs. Because, hot air rises and stuff. So it was really warm out there. But he came the next day and did his little thing on it, and I think all he did was add coolant or freeze, whatever that stuff's called. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it wasn't too bad upstairs, and it hadn't been a particularly hot day. And it had been just, it wasn't rainy or anything. There was no wind, nothing like that. It was just the power went out. So I go upstairs, I go to lay down, and I can't sleep. I'm wide awake. And just as I'm finally starting to feel like I can go to sleep, and I think something was nagging at me, my brain was like, you can't go to sleep yet, you're forgetting something kind of feeling. And I went, oh my gosh, the baby's in the brooder. So I ran downstairs, I ran out to the brooder, and they were all okay. Nobody had gotten cold. It was still warm in there. The brooder plate was cold because at that point it had been off for probably about 2.5 hours, I think. And so I got them plugged into the power bank that I keep in there, and while I was in there, I did some house cleaning and added a little little bit more vetting and checked on everybody and made sure they knew that the plate was back on, and kind of, squished them under there and did all the things. And then went back upstairs, and I think it was right about the time that I was about to fall asleep, the power came back on. And so then I got up, and there was one light that I had left on in the bedroom that I didn't realize was on, and turned that off. And then finally, somewhere probably around 1:15, whatever, in the morning, I fell asleep finally. And then somehow I hit snooze on my alarm, but I turned it off and didn't realize I did it. So me thinking, man, that's been like a long time since I hit snooze, and I look at my thing and it's like 6:46, and I'm like, oh shoot, I was supposed to get up an hour ago because I had some extra chores to do outside that morning and whatever. And so I come downstairs and Mike is up. He's already let the dogs out, and I'm like, I overslept. He's like, oh, I've been up since 5:30. I was like, when I was supposed to get up. And I guess because he fell asleep when I went upstairs, he fell asleep I think around 10 o'clock. So he got a good night's sleep or whatever, and I just left him on the couch. And so when he woke up in the morning, he just got up. And so I was like, yeah, I'm running behind. So he helped me with a couple of he helped me move the birds, and he refilled the water in the chicken tractor for me, so I didn't have to do that. And I went and took care of the other stuff I needed to do for the birds and whatnot. And we were taking separate cars today anyway. But I was like so glad that I remembered that I had birds in the brooder, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me off the bat. The only thing I could think of was when the power went out, I was about 10 minutes away from just going upstairs and going to bed. And so my brain wasn't like, I was already getting tired. I was finishing the last couple minutes of a show I was watching. And for whatever reason, it just took forever for me to remember, oh, you've got chicks in the incubator, and oh, you've got chicks in the brooder. Duh. So not my smartest moment, but at least I had the power banks up there ready to rock and roll and and I keep them charged in between. So like today, I unplugged the things and plugged those back into the wall outlet and replugged the power banks in to charge them, so that I always have them ready to go. But yeah, and because of the weird weather, we did have some rain yesterday earlier in the day. We weren't able to work on the electric line for the sheep, and I don't think that's going to happen today either, because it's looking like it's going to rain again this afternoon, right? We just got out of church, and it's already looking like there's dark clouds on the horizon, and it's kind of looking like it might rain. Plus, there's still like a 75% chance we might try to do our anniversary dinner tonight. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's what's going on. That's what's happening. So now you're up to date on everything. And I processed a bunch of birds on Friday. And I did them by myself. Mike helped right at the end with the last bird, because the chicken plucker, unfortunately, was broken again. There's a piece that wore out, and so I couldn't use it. So I was doing it all by hand, which meant it took a lot longer. And he found the part that he needed, and he went into town to go get it. Well, they were out, and he ran into, which I think I might have already told you guys this, now that I think about it. I don't know. I'm so confused on what I said in what video. But anyway, he ran in. That might have been the video that I was shooting for the chickens, now that I think about it. So maybe I didn't tell you guys this. Anyway, which you'll see this video, the chicken video, on Tuesday of processing the birds. But anyway, so I was doing everything old school by hand. But he showed up when I've got 2 birds left. And with this chicken plucker, and I was like, that doesn't look like our chicken plucker. And he's like, it's not. And I was like, did you just buy a chicken plucker? And he's like, no, I borrowed it. And one of the guys that sells tomatoes in town, Mr. Eddie, had it, and he run into him at the store when he was looking for the part, and he said, well, I got a chicken plucker, just follow me to my house and take it for as long as you need. I'm done with chickens for the season, blah blah blah. So okay, cool. So it'll be like a week or 2 before the part comes in that we need, and we may end up doing more birds between now and then. So it'd be nice to be able to use that and get her done. But it showed up, unfortunately, a little bit too late for me to utilize it on all the birds birds that I was doing. Plus, it was raining sideways for part of the time I was processing, and I was trying to film. So when it would kick up and the wind would kick up, I'd have to grab my camera, grab the mic pack, grab the lighter that I was using to keep the fire going and all the stuff, and just kind of run inside the shop for a few minutes until it died down a little bit, and then come back out and finish what I was doing. And so it was a little bit of like a ordeal, I guess, on Friday. And it definitely, I was tired afterwards. I had every intention of cleaning the house after, and I did not clean the house after. I did clean the house the next morning, but I did not get it done on Friday. By the time I finished on Friday, it was like, and cleaned everything up, it was probably about 5:15, and because I kept having to stop because of the storm. And then I didn't want to finish cleaning up because it was coming down buckets at 4:30, so I was sitting under the thing in the shop waiting for the storm to subside so I could put everything away and clean everything, because it was just coming a flood. But anyway, then we just came in, and I don't even remember, I think I just, I don't even think we really had dinner that night. We just kind of, I said, what do you want me to make? And he's like, don't cook, I'll just make myself a sandwich. You had a long day. Like, there's stuff in the fridge, I'll be fine. I was like, okay, thank you. And I just ate, I think I had a hard-boiled egg and some kimchi or something stupid like that, and kind of zoned out for a while. And then Frankie was out on a date with her boyfriend, so she had a meeting at school, and then she was on a date with her boyfriend. So I was just kind of waiting for her to get home, and they showed up about 9 o'clock, and he hung out for a minute and said hey, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. I'm over this whole day. And I kind of dipped out. But it was a good day, and at least, I got, what was it? I think I got 16 birds done, which is not a lot, but given that I didn't have the plucker, the weather was horrid the entire time I was doing it, so I was trying to film it, I say it's a win, so it's all good in the hood, home fry. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Don't forget, stay blessed, and remember, safety's off.